And as well as all the serious stuff that goes on in the army, because that's what you do for a living. You're in the military, but because you're in that small group of people, loads of mates, all that sort of stuff, there's always weird stuff that goes on. And in fact, there is if people are not making fun of you, that's when you've got to start to worry, because there's something wrong. Because everybody's always having a go at each other. There's always that continuous banter and stitching people up, and it's just the way that what we call the tribal system works. Because the military is all about creating tribes. So your rifle platoon is the best platoon, without a doubt, in the rifle company. Your rifle company is the best rifle company within the battalion, and clearly your battalion is the best battalion in the regiment. And obviously your regiment is the best regiment on the planet, and that's how the tribal system works. So you look after each other, and where you are at that moment in time is clearly the best thing on the planet. That's why you're there. But within that environment, there's always sort of jokes that go on, and certainly as young soldiers, when they turn up to the battalions, they're constantly having a mickey taken out of them, or jokes are playing on them. And there's this great game called Spoon. It's always spoons that is always played on young soldiers when they join a battalion, because everybody's got a spoon no matter what, and you always have a spoon because then you can eat and you can dig and do all that sort of stuff. You've always got a spoon. And what they say, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to play this game Spoons. What you do, you keep your eyes closed, you put your spoon in your mouth, and what you is, you've got two people facing each other, and what they're trying to do is hit each other over the head with their spoon. And both have got their eyes closed, so what they're doing, they're just constantly sort of having a battle with each other. So as a young soldier, you'll put your spoon in, close your eyes, and the older soldier, the other side, just have the spoon in his head and keep on hitting you over the head continuously, and you're wondering why you're not winning. And then you open your eyes out and find out the reason why, because the whole rifle platoon's there making fun of you. So that goes on all the time, game of spoons. Certainly in during a time in the Special Air Service, because we're travelling all over the world in a small group, sometimes only about 20 of you, in a Hercules aircraft, one of these big transport aircraft. You'd have your own Special Forces crew. So the Special Forces crew are responsible for looking after you, for giving you accommodation, for feeding you, and all that sort of stuff as you travel wherever you're going. So what we used to do is sit down with the Special Forces crew and say, okay, if we were coming from, say, Colombia, there was an operation in Colombia that we was involved with a lot. That would be a 3-day journey to get back in one of these slow sort of, turbo aircraft. And they'd say, well, where should we stop to refuel? Do you want to stop in Belize, which was a garrison town at the time, or do you want to stop in the Cayman Islands? And go, clearly, we want to stop in the Cayman Islands. And go, okay. So we'd stop in the Cayman Islands, and if the weather was good, which it would be, that's why we're there in the Cayman Islands, there would be we'd sort of manufacture an engine fault. So all of a sudden we had to stay in the Cayman Islands for 3 days while the engine fault got sorted out. 9 out of 10 times it'd just be a little hose that stuck out. So the RAF then would have to pay for a 3-day holiday in the Cayman Islands. Or if we were running around countries, certainly somewhere like New Zealand, where obviously you've got 2 major islands, and what we do is get hire cars, drive the hire cars into the back of the aircraft, put them on the ramp, strap them down, and then we would fly them off to the North Island. So we'd all have hire cars to drive around with, and the people in Auckland would never have a clue, the hire car company, what's going on, and we'd bring them back a couple of weeks later with sort of, Mount Cook stickers on or whatever it was, which was fantastic. And also, if the weather was good, pull out a hose on one of the engines, so it had to be landed, it had to be grounded for the next 3 days so we can get a holiday.